Buying a home in 2023 is no easy task. If you're watching this and you've been in the home buying market for a while, you probably experienced one of the following. Maybe your market has no inventory. There's nothing to look at. You have to look or rely on off-market properties because there just isn't enough on market for you to tangibly review, let alone make a purchase on. You might also be in a market where you've made many offers on many different homes, and unfortunately, you're continuing to get beat out by other parties who are simply making stronger offers that you can't compete with. Going even further, you might find yourself in the camp of questioning affordability at all, as interest rates are pushing closer to 8 than they are to 6, and wondering if you're ever going to be able to afford buying a home in this market, and if so, what's that home going to look like? Know that you are not alone in these struggles. It's a difficult time for almost every home buyer. The reasons might be different depending on your market, but everybody is facing different challenges and unique struggles right now on the path to homeownership. So in this video, we're going to talk about 7 things you can do to improve your competitiveness and increase your chances of buying a home in 2023. I'm Matt Thomas with Baird & Warner Real Estate. I live and service the Chicagoland area. I've helped hundreds of buyers, sellers, and investors succeed in accomplishing their real estate goals over the years, and I would love to help you accomplish yours. If you're watching this video and you're looking to buy or sell in the Chicagoland area, click the link in the description. Let's connect. I would love to help you accomplish that. If you're looking to accomplish real estate goals outside of Chicago, no problem. I would love to connect you with a vetted, trusted, top producing agent anywhere in the country. Same place, follow the description links below. Let's get in touch, let's stay in touch, and let me help you be successful in what you're trying to accomplish. Like this video if it's helpful for you, share it with somebody who will get value from it. Let's get rolling here. You are in the process of trying to buy a home, and if that's the case, you probably notice it's not an easy endeavor. The promise of this video is that we're going to walk away with 7 steps or 7 tangible actions you can take to improve your competitiveness and make sure that you can buy a home this year. So we're going to dive right into it. Tip number 1, ask better questions. Ask yourself honestly, are you actively listening when you're making offers? How well do you understand the seller's needs? How well do you understand their pain? How well do you understand their timeline, their goals, their objectives, what they're looking to accomplish? Too many buyers approach this as if we're in a fight. It's you versus sellers. Somebody's got to get an advantage. Someone's got to get a deal. That's how we're approaching it. In reality, the best deals, the deals that have the highest chance of succeeding, are deals where both parties understand each other's objectives and align on what we're trying to accomplish. How can you do that unless you understand the seller's objectives? I see offers all the time when I represent the sellers that are made blindly. Nobody calls me to discuss the details of what my sellers wants, numbers they're looking for, a close date that makes sense for them, anything that's important to them at all. I just get a contract with a close date that seemingly was thrown at a dartboard and a number. Sometimes I get a phone call, sometimes a text, sometimes a, hey, there's an offer in your inbox. Cool, thanks for the context. There's really very little communication that happens sometimes. And I say that as somebody who works on both sides of the transaction. So when I'm working with buyers, I'm actively advising them to ask as many questions as possible. And I say advising them because, let's face it, the reality of real estate now is things move quickly. These buyers, I am always with them and I'm asking as many questions as possible. But if they walk into an open house and find a place, they need to be ready to ask those questions too, because there might be 10 offers when they leave that day. So yes, it's competitive enough where buyers and their agents alike have to be on the same page. Our goal in a place that you're interested in is to ask as many questions as possible to figure out the seller's incentives, their possible pain points, and ways that we can proceed with the negotiation. If you present an offer where you've asked no questions, you will lose 10 times out of 10 to the person who has asked at least the basic questions of, when do you want to close, Mr. Seller? And what items are important to you in the contract, Mrs. Seller? If you're asking even those 2 questions, you put yourself ahead of 8 out of the 10 offers that somebody's going to receive. Ask better questions, listen to the responses, and use that information to craft better offers. My second piece of advice, expand your horizons. You may have received advice on focusing on the neighborhood first and then choosing the home from there. And I do in many ways agree with that. I think it's important to understand the neighborhood that you're buying in. What I'm seeing with many buyers is this extremely focused comfort zone that they're willing to look in. I get people who call me and they give me a 4-block radius in the city of Chicago that they want to buy in. And then 9 months later, when they haven't found something that's either A, in their price point, or B, meeting their criteria in that 4-block radius, they're frustrated and they're mad at the market. Or in some cases, they're mad at me. Or in other cases, they're just feeling like there's no hope. My pushback, generally speaking, is have you expanded your horizons? Could you find what you're looking for in that 4-block radius in the middle of Lincoln Park in another neighborhood? There are 77 of them here. You don't have to leave the city. You might not even have to leave your school district, but can you move just a little bit farther and find something that works for you? This city is dynamic, and going 1 block can make $100,000 difference in the pricing of the same asset, and that's not an over-exaggeration. So if you are looking in a specific area, if you're looking in a hyper-specific area particularly, consider expanding. Have you thought about similar areas either nearby or in the city that would replicate that feel? Have you thought about alternative options? Are you considering the borderlines of where you'd be willing to go as being the possible limiting factor of why you can't get there? Remove as many barriers as you can, or at least change your mindset on how you approach those barriers, and you'll see more options, right? If you consider North Center and you've never looked there before, maybe you'll fall in love and move to North Center and live there forever happily on. I was in West Loop for years. I'm now in Irving Park. If you had asked me 3 years ago if I would live at Irving Park, I would have told you no way, that's not where I'm looking. But now I absolutely love where I live. It far exceeds anything I thought I needed and wanted from my home. And the best part is I got it at a very affordable price compared to if I was looking in Lincoln Park or Lakeview or something of that nature. This stacks well with my third piece of advice. I mean, in addition to expanding your horizons, you must know your must-knows. You must know your must-avoids. Define, redefine, negotiate, battle, however you need to get through setting up a stack rank of priorities for what you want and what you don't want. Ultimately, what we're doing here is a process of elimination. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of homes on market that are for sale. You and I need to figure out a way to eliminate 99.99% of those homes until we get to the one that will work for you. That's our goal in this process. The process of elimination is best aided by having criteria to compare against. I cannot remove homes from your search if you don't tell me what you don't want, or if I can't at least figure out if it doesn't meet what you do want. So things like, I would never live in a place that doesn't allow pets because you have a pet. That's an important thing to know if you're shopping in condos. Things like, I would never live in a first floor or a garden unit because I don't feel safe or I don't want to deal with the possibility of flooding. That fundamentally changes a search. Now, you don't want to just grasp for straws here. I talk to many people and I could tell when I ask, would you live on a ground floor? They go, oh, no, never. That's not really something you thought about. You're reacting from your gut, which has value, and maybe you want to follow your gut reaction. But take time and think about this. In a market with limited inventory where buying a home is tough, would you live in a ground unit? I could tell you right now, ground units are generally priced at a discount and often not as attractive as other units to home buyers. So if you would make that sacrifice, you'd get a better price and probably have a less competitive buyer pool. So some of this is about changing your mindset. What's important to you? Some of it's non-negotiable. If you have a dog, I assume pets are non-negotiable, right? If you need a parking space for your car and you are refusing to deal with the snow that comes with parking outside, garage parking might be a must-have for you. If you have bad knees because of a surgery, avoiding a top floor of a walk-up is probably a must-have, or maybe a must-avoid in this case, right? So identifying these items and clearly explaining them and then prioritizing them. And the reason that prioritization comes into play is, let's say we've been hunting for a little while. You always want to start with the ideal world. I tell every new client I meet with, we're going to start with the ideal vision. And if we look in the marketplace, can't find it, don't see it, and get frustrated, we're going to have to pivot, change directions, and alter our search slightly. And if you can define what you'd be willing to give up first, that makes that process easier. If we started by searching for units that have parking, quickly realize there's nothing in your price point with parking, take it out and find something amazing, that's how we are successful. So your ability to define, okay, parking is the first thing I give up in a non-perfect world, is your ability to succeed. Most buyers do not get everything they want. I would even go so far as to say every buyer does not get what they want. 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10, that's a great process. But you're sacrificing something. Even if you buy brand new and you design it yourself, chances are good you're going to live there for a few months and go, we should have done this. There's always something that you want to change or that won't be ideal for your perfect situation. The more you understand what is really important to you and the more you define that, even write it out and define it in paper and writing to somebody, said it out loud, the better you'll have, the better the process will be as you go through eliminating properties from consideration. The fourth thing you need to be paying attention to is how you're searching. And I would encourage you to make sure you're searching intelligently. That might sound obvious, but let's play this out. This is how most home buyers search for a home to start. They take their phone, they download Zillow, and they sit in bed like this at night. Oh yeah, I like that one. Oh yeah, I like that one. Oh yeah, look at that one. I like that one. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. That's not a way to search. That's not success. That's not going to set you up for success. You're probably not going to find the right home doing that. Zillow syncs on a delay. The things you're looking at might be under contract already. I can name 400 problems with this approach. This is not a strategy. You need to search with intelligence. Intelligence, in my mind, when approaching a home search, is multiple facets. Number one is technology. You should be using a search app that allows you to not only see properties on market and coming on market soon, but that allows you direct communication with a buyer's agent who can then put you in touch with those properties so that you can take massive action immediately. That's not Zillow. Zillow is a lead tool where you can click call now. They'll route you to an agent who pays Zillow. I'm one of them. I know how it works. You'll land with me. I'm going to want to meet you at the property for the first time. We'll just start our relationship at the same time you're starting to review that property. That creates a lot of legwork. If it's the last case scenario, if you just find something on a whim, we can make it happen. But if you're trying to get ahead and be strategic here, be smarter than just trusting you're going to find something on Zillow and call an agent when the time comes. Use an app like ZenList, which is one that I love and could share the download link for, that gives you direct agent communication on properties. If you're going to work through Zillow, at least connect with a Zillow Premier agent and start communicating with them through the app. Find somebody and stick to them. Find an advocate in your corner who will use the technology of these apps, who will allow you to use the technology of the app so that you can find what you're looking for as quickly as possible. You also want to, just in general, align with the resource. Like I said, do you want to spend 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 10 months scrolling on Zillow without anybody helping you? Or would you rather just call an agent, explain what you're looking for using the criteria we've already defined, and let them search for you? Let them be the ones to bring you off-market opportunities they're aware of, or opportunities that are on market that maybe you just didn't have time to scroll past. The more people you can have in your corner, the better technology you're leveraging in the process, and the quicker you are to adapt to the search, the better off you'll be. And by quickness of adaptation, all I mean is commit to the search. Searching intelligently means if you see something on Monday in an area where you know everything sells quickly, don't expect you have until that weekend to maybe see the open house to make an offer. Intelligence means understanding what's happening in the market. If things are moving quickly, you might have to take your lunch break to go see it. You might have to ask the agent for a video tour faster than you're comfortable. You might have to ask for a little bit of time off to go do some things in your home purchase. It's a part-time job to buy a home right now. Step 5 ties right into searching intelligently. Be ready to buy. When you're scrolling Zillow, even if you've taken the other step of calling a real estate agent and they're helping you search on top of what you're doing on Zillow, you're not ready to buy. You have not achieved the goals that you need to achieve to be buyer ready when you find the right property. If you made an offer today, functionally, you're going to write out a purchase contract and you're going to send it to the sellers with the terms of the offer. What you want to spend on the home, what you're going to put down, how much earnest money, what close date you want. The piece of proof that comes with that is either proof of funds or a pre-approval letter. A pre-approval letter proves that you went and spoke to a mortgage lender and that they are going to finance you likely hundreds of thousands of dollars for this purchase. A proof of funds is a screenshot of an account in some cases that shows you have enough cash to make the purchase you intend to purchase, or the purchase price in this case. Those are important. If you don't have one or both, if you're kind of flexible on your strategy, you're not ready to buy. And here's what happens all too often. People wait 6 months. They've been poking around on Zillow. They finally find something they love. They've been communicating with me the whole time. They're excited. They want to go see it. We get in, we do a tour. The agent says, we have multiple offers, best and finals due tomorrow at 9 a.m. I'm now standing with a buyer who's in love with a property and hasn't even filled out a mortgage application on 5 o'clock the night before the offers are due. There's no chance that they're going to be able to confirm with the lender that they're going to get pre-approved with confidence, get the letter back, get it in by 9 a.m. I mean, maybe if we get all the right resources and we scramble, we can get something out there, but it's going to set so many problems and red flags and fires in advance, and it gives that buyer a lot less time to be prepared. Now, rather than taking time to evaluate what lender they want to work with, they had to frantically start a fire drill and just get a quote for a pre-approval because they found a house and they're being backdoored into it. Do not set yourself up for failure. The quickest way to set up for failure is to not prepare to succeed. The number one way to prepare to succeed when buying a home is to get a pre-approval or a proof of funds letter ready to go and bring it with you when you start searching for homes. Number 6, I just talked about, you're going to submit that purchase contract when the time comes. Understand the levers, the tactical levers that exist in that purchase contract. Some of them are obvious. Purchase price, that's one thing you can negotiate to make your offer look better. Close date, that's another one. You can pull it or push it and make it fit the seller's needs to make your offer more enticing. But beyond that, how are you using the other levers in the contract? And better yet, do you understand them? When you see somebody saying they want an as-is purchase, what's that mean? Go ahead, say it out loud, answer, I'll wait. If you answered that as-is means you're buying the home as-is, you're partially correct. The key function of as-is is that you are buying the home as-is, but you maintain the right to conduct your inspection. That's a huge clause to remember, because you hear horror stories of people that waived an inspection, meaning they are agreeing not to conduct one, and therefore they will not use the results they find in any capacity for the purchase. That is different than somebody who says they are going to take a property as is, but not waive the inspection. Understanding that gives you power. If you're making an offer side by side, same terms with the other offer, same purchase price, same closing date, but you say you'll take the property as is, you still get to inspect it and make sure that that was a good decision, but the seller internally draws confidence from the fact that you're not going to nickel and dime them for repairs and feels generally like you have a stronger offer. So don't be afraid of using things like as is. Do understand that if you're waiving things like inspection, or God forbid, something like a mortgage contingency, that has huge ramifications if something goes wrong in the deal. So don't just start pulling levers you don't understand. Talk to your agent. But there are creative ways to make offers more enticing beyond the purchase price, the close date, and the earnest money. And you should be aware of those. Our 7th tip, this is the simplest thing, and something I wish that all people would keep in mind every day when engaging in real estate transactions. Stop trying to win. Nobody is here to win and lose. We are here to find mutual ground and proceed forward. Deals die when somebody gets it in their head that they're not getting a good deal or that they're losing. We don't want anybody to lose. I want the sellers to get a number that they're hopefully comfortable with walking away from the table. Sure, might not be the ideal most amount of money that they wanted, but it's a number they're comfortable with. I want the buyers to be proceeding at a number that they're comfortable with. I want the timeline to be something that isn't pushing anybody too fast one way or the other. It's manageable for both parties. In an ideal world, these deals are meant to be amicable. One person is moving on from a home, probably into another home. They may or may not need the funds from home number 1 for number 2. If they do, it creates some timeline difficulties that we deal with. Party number 2, the one buying the home, they might have a home. Maybe they don't. Maybe they're just moving. This is the first one they're moving into. Ideally, all they want is a home out of the transaction. That's their goal. One party wants to leave a home behind. One party wants to get a home. It's really nice on paper. It just gets really argumentative when we get people in it who feel slighted because they can't get a win. Or we see it all the time. I'll have people list for a certain number. They'll get an offer for the list price, and they'll choose not to take it. They want to continue seeing what's out there, or maybe they'll get it in their head that, oh, we priced too low because somebody wants to pay us what we asked for. If the number makes sense to you, stop trying to win. Don't try to game the market. If that's the number you want and it's well supported by market data and a buyer is willing to pay you, in my opinion, take it. Be done. Don't overcomplicate it, a good thing, and walk away with a win. If everybody took the same approach of moving amicably rather than trying to win, a lot more deals would stay on the rails rather than falling into cancellation, and we'd have a lot more success overall. If you take these 7 pieces of advice and roll them into how you're hunting for a home right now, you will become a dangerous home buyer. Dangerous in the sense that you are ready to act, you are aware of the marketplace, you're aware of the levers you can pull when you find the right home to negotiate and to negotiate aggressively, and you're in the right position to make sure you're seeing as many opportunities as possible with the help of your agent and the technology at your disposal. You can't really prepare in any other way. You know everything there is to know. You've identified the variables. You've stacked your team. Now it's just time, effort, and the approach to the market. Eventually, you will find a home that works for you. You'll be able to put an offer that makes sense to the seller, and you'll be able to proceed. I can't promise it won't be after 10 offers rather than 1, but I wish you all the best in that process. And I sincerely hope that as you go through negotiations, you take these steps into consideration to try and make yourself as appealing a buyer, as competitive a buyer as possible. If this video was helpful, please like it. Leave some comments below. If you have thoughts on tips that have worked for you, maybe you just bought a home and something really went well in the purchase process, leave it in the comments. I'm sure that would be helpful for somebody to know. If you just sold a home and something worked on you in the buyer that you worked with, hey, offer your opinion as well. All sides are valuable. Send this video to somebody who would draw some value from it. It does a world of favor to me and to the channel. My goal always is to share valuable information about the Chicago real estate market and beyond, and I hope this video helps make you a better home buyer. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.